What's up, YouTube? This is Josh Blount once again with the first episode of a new series. It might seem like I'm kind of starting too many things at once, I guess, but just trying to show the plans that I have for the YouTube channel and also respond to the specific requests, because I get asked a lot, what is the blankest thing I ever saw or experienced or did in prison? So this is going to be a series to kind of start addressing that and working on answering those questions. So this is episode 1 of Tales from the Jungle. One of the nicknames in federal prison for prison is the concrete jungle, or just the jungle, so that's where the name comes from. And I figured that, considering that I get asked this stuff a lot, particularly with all the traffic that I have right now from the excellent fans and subscribers of the other channels that have been shouting me out, Tommy C, Shot from the Point Shows, Silent Core as always, Count Dankula, Moat Plox, Penguin Zero, and the official podcast. I've been getting a whole lot of traffic here lately from those channels and asked a lot about my experiences. So wanted to make a series expounding upon this. And the very first one that I'm gonna go with is also one of the funniest things, I guess, that ever happened to me, or that I was a part of when I was in federal prison. And this is what I would call the grossest thing that I ever went through when I was in federal prison. So let me start off and set the scene for you. There's a guy in prison. Lots of guys hustle, like they have, I, for one, went through a period of time of typing legal motions or emails for people because I was really good at typing. You just ask for a couple stamps, that's our currency in there. But a lot of the hustlers cook food, and they go sell food out on the rec yard or in the unit, and it's nothing too fancy. I mean, they'll like make a bunch of burritos and sell them for a few stamps each, make a couple dollars profit. And the convenience of it, especially if they buy good ingredients from the kitchen like onions and bell peppers, people will pay for it. It's a good, honest way to turn a hustle. So there was a guy that was very, very notorious for his hustling capabilities. As a matter of fact, his prison nickname, I think I can legally say it or whatever. It's just a street name that he had, but they called him Game Tight. You'd be surprised at how much you get used to weird nicknames and how rapidly you'll start referring to them by their names without thinking twice about it, even if you sound white as hell at first. Like, have you seen Game Tight? I guess he kept his game tight. But anyways, he was a cook. His main hustle was cooking stuff. He could make cheesecakes that looked exactly like real world cheesecakes out of like creamer and stuff. It was amazing. But he sold burritos and all kinds of stuff. And there was a rumor going around at one point, this is like 6 months before this took place that I initially heard this. There was a rumor going around at one point that he was the food cooking guy, but that he had a dirty tampon that he had found in his locker next to where he kept all of his ingredients for his food. And of course, I just chalked that up to what we call inmate.com, just rumors and nonsense that people say that get spread around like wildfire. I naturally assumed that was some nonsense. I didn't understand even like how, unless he was digging through some some CO's trash somewhere, I don't see how he could have even gotten a hold of one. But it was a rumor that I heard, and I kind of forgot about it until a few months later. So about 6 months after I heard that, I would guess, it could have been 4 months, man, it's hard to tell in there, but a couple months later, I was walking through the block, like my prison block, Delta B unit at Federal Correctional Institute of Talladega, Alabama, medium high security. I was walking through the unit, and there was this old school Hispanic dude. He was a gangster. He's probably, I guess, maybe in his 50s or something like that. He actually used to have seizures really bad, but he was a nice enough guy. We got along all right. Well, he comes up to me and he goes, hey, somebody dropped the package outside, man. Somebody dropped the package. Go check it out. And, a package is like when people have their drugs or paraphernalia or whatever bundled up real tight, and they'll normally like put it in their ass crack maybe, or in their sock, and they have to have it bundled up to go into a hiding location. They got a pack on them, The compound was open because it was like lunchtime, I think. Yeah, it was lunchtime. So like we were able to freely go in and out of our unit to the lunchroom and back and stuff, and all the units, all the prisons walking around and stuff, or you can go to the rec yard if you want. They have like an open movement for short periods of time during the chow hall being open. So I went outside, and we had a female CO working that day. She was a heavy set African-American lady. She and I had always gotten along all right, I guess. I didn't talk much to the COs, but she seemed like she was okay. She wasn't one of the ones to come shake us down or bother us too badly. So I walked outside, and she was the only one standing over there. Like in between, our units had doors facing each other like this. This is Delta A unit, this is Delta B unit. You walk across from them. They got a path in the middle where you can go talk to like the counselors and all that are just there for their check, that don't really help inmates at all. And so the lady was standing there, and she's standing there with her arms crossed like this, and there's no other COs around, and there weren't even any inmates walking up. So I walked out, and I tried to be nonchalant, I'm just kind of looking around. I turn around and come back in, and about 4 feet in front of the dumpsters that we had outside was a bundled up, long, skinny, I didn't know this at the time, dude, but it had like white cellophane looking paper on it that had what I now know is the Tampax like plastic that comes around a tampon. So I saw it and I walked back inside and I walked up to the Hispanic dude. He's cheesing, he's grinning. He's like, oh yeah, yeah. And I was like, yeah, dude, there is a package. And it was, you know, cylindrical and somewhat long. So it looked like something somebody would have fashioned to stick between their butt cheeks to avoid being detected on a pat search. So I'm sitting out there like, man, there could be anything in that, man. Cause I was, you know, I was not sober at this time. I was fairly often, you know, spending my hustle money from typing on getting high every now and then. And, so I'm thinking there's a package and I probably just hit the jackpot, but there was no possible way that she did not see that package sitting there is what I was thinking. I mean, she's standing there like this. This thing is so obvious. It's 4 feet in front of the dumpster. So, I mean, like, I'm sitting there like, what in the hell, you know? So I pretty much moseyed outside and acted like I was looking for somebody. And the second that she turned her head away and looked for like a nanosecond, I snatched it up off the ground, right? And this dude, this Hispanic dude is inside, this Mexican guy is just laughing hysterically, bro. He knew what was going on, but I didn't because I was green. I'd only been in the prison for like 7 months, 8 points. I didn't realize exactly what that was. So I grab it and I pretty much haul ass upstairs to my cell, right? So I pull it out and it's a rolled up cylinder of toilet paper. It wasn't just the thing shoved in there. So I'm still thinking, I don't know that this is a Tampax or a tampon plastic, you know? So I start unrolling it and I'm unrolling it and I get to the middle and there's bloody toilet paper in the middle of it, like wrapped all around it. And I was like, what the hell? And I look up and the Mexican dude's laughing, looking in the window. And I was like, what is this? You know? And that's whenever I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh man, I haven't been free since I was 19. I was in very immature relationships prior to this. Periods weren't something I was yet talking about with my significant others. I was pretty unfamiliar with the packaging on a tampon. So I realized, I was like, oh my God, this is a tampon wrapper. I just took this lady's dirty tampon. And I forgot to mention, by the way, whenever I scooped up the tampon off the ground and I was looking around to make sure she still wasn't looking, Game Tight was walking up. He stayed in a different unit. They're not allowed to come to our unit. He was walking up the pathway to our unit, smiling at her. He had a hole in his front tooth just for being in prison for too long, I guess. And he's like walking out like, hey, looking all like wanna be charming as best as he can look. And just like as soon as I thought about that, it all made sense. I was like, this dude is either, I don't know if he's paying her for them or if he's somehow, I have no clue how he would have possibly seduced her, because even though she was a funny looking lady, this was a weird looking, this dude looked like a dumpling out of some chicken and dumplings, like a little weird thumb looking ass dude with a big hole in his front tooth. Like just nasty complexion looking, like he was just a funny looking, not smooth, weird kind of guy, man. He was a good hustler, don't get me wrong, you know, I mean, I did business with him and I bought his burritos up until this point, but so I immediately realized that not only was this a tampon that I just picked up off the ground, but also that Game Tight was on his way to come pick it up, and the rumor was true that Game Tight did indeed somehow acquire bloody used tampons from a female CO. I have no idea how he charmed this woman into doing this. I don't know how he could have paid her. He would have had to have people like on the street sending money to her or something like that. Like I have absolutely no clue how he convinced her to do this. But the fact that it was sitting all out in front of the dumpster, it was just shit that didn't click for me until afterwards. And so I'm sitting there in the room with this thing and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with this thing? I now have this. And you know what? Then I heard the walkie-talkie crackling outside of my door. The COs wear walkie-talkies. And normally that lady, she doesn't hold her keys. They wear keys as well to unlock or lock the cells or the doors and stuff. She held her keys, followed me up the stairs without me being aware of it, and was hovering by the door to see what I did with it. Because she probably thought I was about to go snitch on her or something like that, which obviously I was not about to do. I was just wanted to be done and rid of this situation as fast as I could. I heard the radio crackling, so I just kind of froze up. I kind of wrapped up in my hands like this. And just to be sure that the cameras in the unit could see me, just in case she wanted to go back and look later, I waited like 5 minutes, kind of pacing the floor of my cell. And when I was sure that she wasn't there anymore, because the radios crackle like every 30 seconds, I walked out, I walked to the trash can at the end of my cell block, and I just threw it straight in the trash. And I went back in my cell. That lady never looked at me again. She worked our unit for like the rest of that quarter. They divided into quarters and the COs will oftentimes move around. She didn't make eye contact with me. She didn't say a word to me. We had a relatively friendly rapport. Like I said, I mean, I wasn't always trying to shoot the breeze with the COs. The people that do that too much are just, you know, sketchy. There's something weird going on with that. But she never made eye contact with me again. And then at the end of the quarter, she transferred to another block, and never, ever, ever did I so much as smile or make eye contact with her again. I walked up into the middle of a conspiracy that I was totally unaware of. and did not want to get involved in. And this Hispanic dude never let me live it down. Every time that I saw him, he'd be like, hey, why don't you get the package, Holmes? There's a package outside, vato, go grab it, man. And just was dying laughing because I just didn't realize what was going on. He probably took one glance at it and knew it was a tampon wrapper. I myself was like, that's a package, bro. I'm gonna get that. That's probably $400. I just was thinking it's shaped like this. Somebody nestled it in between their butt cheeks for some nice sweet protection. And then when they were walking outside to go to chow, it slipped out and fell down their pants leg. Well, I wasn't above grabbing that. There could be $400 worth of something in there, you know what I mean? So I went to go grab it and come across a bloody tampon. And it's not that I'm trying to imply here that I think that periods are gross or anything stupid like that, but it's just like this random lady and this dude that makes food for the half the compound was buying or somehow procuring these dirty tampons from her. This lady that I don't know that is very, very heavy set, very, very unattractive, and I'm now in possession of her used bloody tampon. I'm not trying to imply here that just periods are nasty. I'm a grown man, dude. It is what it is. But this situation made it very, very gross and very disturbing to me. That has to be the grossest thing that I ever saw when I was in federal prison. So I'm pretty sure now that I've made the thumbnail already for this video, I'm pretty sure that me holding the tampon is like hidden a little bit by like the play in the corner of the YouTube video, like whenever you see the thumbnail. Maybe not, I don't know. Sometimes they don't do that. I'm normally on my phone on YouTube. But we worked pretty hard on this thumbnail, so shout out to a dude in my Discord. His name is @Ali Oxenfree, and he always takes the time to cut me out for my thumbnails. He was a little too late on the last one. I was in a rush, and I went ahead and did it without it, but he did it this time, so my thumbnails now look a lot better. And I just like, I always wondered if she wanted to say something to me about it. There were multiple times where I wanted to walk up to her and be on some like inmate shit and just be like, listen, I don't know nothing. That was an accident. I didn't see it. Nothing. Because I was scared that she was going to go after me after that. But she did exactly the opposite. She ceased to acknowledge my existence. So I think we were both okay with that. I did not have any complaints at all about this woman deciding that I was no longer an entity in her life. That was fine with me because I was freaked the hell out. Game Tight was looking at me with a funny look in his eyes like the next couple weeks. Like I think he was like, you touching yourself to my woman? You using my tampon? And it also goes to show you kind of the depravity of men in prison. You know, when they go several years without women, like guys that were never good with girls, they start doing really, really weird shit and like getting super into nasty, nasty stuff that like should not give you a sexual attraction. It seems like the longer that dudes go without female contact, the more weird and deviant they get, is what I found. To the point that a lot of the guys, after they've been locked up 20 years, stop being able to tell the difference between a man and a woman, I guess. But anyways, that's a story for another day, I guess. But as I said, that's the grossest thing that I ever saw in federal prison. The grossest, weirdest shit that I was ever involved in. That's just a little tiny itty bitty tales from the jungle, but I hope it was entertaining to you. We got more, man, because you guys know I saw a brutal act of violence occur on somebody. People ask about the fights that I got in and stuff like that. This is more of an open platform than necessarily just memes I missed in prison. So plenty more where that came from. I'm moving into my apartment tomorrow with my wife. So we're gonna have a different background. Don't worry, I'm bringing the lava lamps to my Twitch chat. I will bring the lava lamps, guys. Please comment, like, subscribe if you liked the video. We got more where this came from. And yeah, I got Instagram, I got Twitch, I got Twitter, I got all that. That should all be right down there in the description. Hopefully it will work. My Twitch links never want to work right. So thank you guys very much for watching. Shout out to all the channels that have been helping me out lately, man. Moplox helped me out, Lockdown 23-1. P10 and Boys Official Podcast, man, it's been insane. So thank you all very, very much. I'm probably going to upload this at totally non-optimum hours because we got a big day tomorrow moving. So it's going to be late when this video gets up. But I'm about to go edit it. I love y'all. Y'all have an absolutely excellent night. And I hope to see you soon for the next episode of Tales from the Jungle. Or maybe Memes I Missed in Prison, #3. We'll see. Much love. Talk to y'all soon, guys.